So have you heard about something called an Azure Landing Zone? You think you need a helicopter to go and use that service? Well, don't worry, you don't have to have any flight skills or pilot skills at all to talk about an Azure Landing Zone. And that's what we're going to talk about today here on Cloud with Chris. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Cloud with Chris. You're with me, Chris Reddington, and here we talk about all things cloud. Now, we're continuing our journey thinking about Azure architecture, slightly different direction today though. A lot of the patterns so far we've talked about are really development focused, I would say, whereas now we're going to take a little bit of a shift and move into the infrastructure space. So if you've migrated into Azure already or you're somewhere along that journey, you may have heard of something called an Azure Landing Zone. And you might be looking through all of the Azure services trying to find out, what is this Azure Landing Zone that everyone is talking about. Well, I'm very pleased today to have Karim Fahmy joining me, talking all about Azure Landing Zones, what they are, and why you should care about them. So, Karim, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, hello, Chris. Thank you so much for this invitation, and I'm so happy actually to have my first debut with you here. And let's start, talking about maybe a little bit of introduction of myself.
Sure.
So so my name is Karim Fahmy. I'm an Azure Solutions Architect. So I've been working in the IT since more than 12 or 13 years. I'm an ex-Microsoft, telecom companies, and Avanade, DXC, and currently I'm working in Fujitsu,
Awesome.
GmbH, so in Germany. I'm based in Germany right now. And my main focus is on the Azure infrastructure, mainly the migrations and the infrastructure itself, conversions from physical to virtual, virtual to virtual, and so a lot of journey actually.
Awesome, excellent.
Going through the Azure.
And I think that's one of the important pieces when we talk about landing zones is some of that context. I think a lot of the time we focus on design patterns and specific services, but I'm sure as we'll talk through here, but not to give the game away yet, landing zones is really about that wider context, isn't it? So I guess exactly that's maybe a good place to start then, from your perspective, what is a landing zone?
Okay, that's cool. So this is the topic that everybody is confused about, and they are thinking about it's something coming from the space. It's Azure Landing Zone, and it looks like somebody is landing from outside to the zone, but it's So actually, Azure Landing Zone is a structured. Maybe I will simplify it. So it's a structured way to build your cloud infrastructure and make it ready with the configurations, with a group of resources or templates or whatever to host your workloads and to be able to host your workloads. So it's kind of, imagine that you have like a huge building, okay? And inside the building, you have the flats inside the building. So each flat you need to configure it. So to put the electricity, to put the water, to put the exits, everything, the fire hoses and everything. This is called the landing zone. So to make the place suitable for the workloads, then after you finish the flat, then put the workloads, which is furnishing, like you are putting your furniture inside. Whatever you want to put, you want to make it studio, you want to make it a living place. So this is the idea of the Azure Landing Zone.
Gotcha.
What is the making it confused? I mean, the confusion between people about the Azure Landing Zone. We have two perspectives. If you are a customer, a normal customer, then you are putting your stuff in an Azure Landing Zone, which is your Azure Landing Zone. And if you are a service provider or integrator, whatever, then, or like us, I mean, like me in Fujitsu here, so we have two landing zones. So we have our Fujitsu own landing zone, which does not serve anybody. It's own cloud own landing zone. We put our stuff inside. And the other part, we are creating Azure Landing Zones for our customers.
Right.
So this is how it
goes.
If you want to, exactly. So if we want to go more in deep details about the Azure Landing Zone, so for example, if you are having here in this page that I'm sharing right now, so Azure Landing Zone is a part of something big called cloud adoption framework. Okay. So the cloud adoption framework is your reference for building a cloud for your company. So this is like your kind of reference. So you can say, for example, it's I won't say the it's not a Bible or something like rigid.
Sure.
You can change it, yeah, but it's kind of solid framework to adopt the idea of the cloud. And if you go through the cloud adoption framework, and if you want to talk about it, it needs another series actually, because it's so big. Cloud adoption framework contains a lot of parts. It's split in two parts. One part is the business part. You start thinking about why I need to go to the cloud, what is the ROI, return on investment, and a lot of stuff that you have to take care about. And the strategy, where are you going? Are you going to be all infrastructure as a service, are going to platform as a service or software as a service, going to containerize your stuff? What is the strategy? So all of this is inside the cloud adoption framework. One of the points inside the readiness part is called here, if you can see on the left blade here. So this is the cloud adoption framework, okay? And then you have many points on the left here. So there's the strategy. You're going to find what is the motivations actually to make you go here into the cloud, the business outcomes and justification and so on. And another one is the planning and how to plan for what you are going to do into adoption of the cloud, and a lot of points actually. I need to go inside them, but they are so big, it's gonna take a lot of time. And here's our part, is called the Azure Landing Zones here.
Sure.
So here are some of the designing areas. What is it touching, or what is talking about here for? What is the most important part in the Azure Landing Zone when you say, hey guys, today you're a customer going to Microsoft or going to any partners of Microsoft, and you're asking, hey, we need to go to the Azure. We need to put our stuff in Azure. Then the smart architect will say, yeah, so you have first to set up your cloud adoption framework, and then in the phase of readiness here, of the ready phase, you have to put your landing zone. And the landing zone, as we say here, the design areas of the landing zone, for example, starting from the enterprise enrollment. So the subscription type, is it whatever? Is it pay as you go? Is it an enterprise agreement? Is it CSP agreement? Whatever. So you have to be aware about this. The identity, how you're going to configure the identity of your environment. Is it going to use a hybrid model or totally put your Active Directory on Azure and so on? Network topology and connectivity, and this is the most important one. And this is, yes, exactly. And this makes a lot of discussions between different expertise. So some people adopt the school of having their own connectivity. Some people have the shared connectivity. Some people have school of dedicating different connectivities, one for data transfer, one for management, one for disaster recovery, and so on. And also the network topology depending on the workloads. So if you are using, for example, critical workloads, so you have to make your stuff highly available, maybe in 2 different regions, and also to make a good planning for your IP addresses. So if you're talking about IP addresses, you have to get a good planning, because if you don't have a good planning about the IP addresses, wow, it's going to be a long story actually, because you have also to plan to have IPv6 in the future, because it's there in Azure. If you want to go with the IPv6 for the IoT stuff, also you have to consider it in your network topology and connectivity. Then if you go down there, so the resource organizations and governance, disciplines, and operation baseline. So all of those stuff like resource organization. So how you gonna differentiate between your different maybe departments or resources or users. For example, the marketing, they have their own workloads. Sales have their own workloads. Finance, they have their own workloads, and so on. Resource organization means that you have to put it in a special hierarchy just to get a clear billing at the end of each month, for example, or maybe live. Not live, I didn't experience the live one. If you saw it before, I didn't see the live billing. But you have to set it from the beginning. Then the governance discipline. So who can see what can be deployed, what cannot, who is eligible to make those stuff appear, for example, in the West Europe region, not in the North Europe, and so on. This is for the governance.
Sure.
Yeah. If you go to the next point here, so operations baseline here. So operation baseline. So how are you gonna operate your workloads? The cloud itself. For example, again, I like this example. If you have the building, how are you gonna operate the electricity? How are you gonna operate the waters? How are you gonna operate all of these stuff? So all of those points, you have to set it from the beginning, because if you build your tower or the building and you went so high, you said to the customer, hey, I can build you for 33 floor, 100 floor, and make a beautiful furniture and blah blah blah, and you do the you do the excitement for the customer, and then when you start deploying without taking care of those points inside the cloud adoption framework, after you finish the building, say, okay, wow, this is the flat. Okay, that's cool. Where's the water? Oh, there's no water.
Yeah, indeed.
There's no water. Okay.
Indeed.
Yeah. What is the electric socket here in the kitchen? I need it in the kitchen. Where is it? You don't have any kitchen. You have to go outside. So this is exactly how people or how architects should think about while they are building cloud architecture infrastructure. It's really important. Nobody think about and also I'd like to give some hints for maybe the hiring managers for HR or something like this, who are mentioning in the jobs like, hey, just we need a cloud or we need DevOps, a cloud architect, and they put inside the cloud architect a DevOps description. It's just not like it's not talking about architecture. They need somebody to automate.
Sure.
Hey guys, if there is no clear structure, yeah, the DevOps guys, he's awesome. He can do everything you want, but he should know first, where's the blueprints? What is design? Mm-hmm. How's it?
Gotcha.
And this really needs a lot of planning and a lot of designing and considering and also experience. So yeah, this is how it goes actually in the market with the cloud architecture, and specifically the Azure Landing Zones. So the old term of the Azure Landing Zones, if you remember, it was called the cloud fundamentals. Yes. Or the cloud foundation, the cloud fundamentals. That was the first one that actually I experienced it since 2016 and 17. And then later the term changed and the cloud adoption framework, and then they embedded inside the Azure Landing Zones. Yeah. So, and so on. So yeah, business continuity, DR, BCDR. And yeah, one of the most important things. So if you build the building and it's really working fine and everything is good, so what if the electricity is down? What if the water is down? So you have to make a redundancy, okay? And also if, for example, if the building has a crack or something, that you have to ensure that you have another building in another place so you can move your people to other buildings.
Yes.
This is how you should think about. Okay.
Yeah, I really like the.
If you have a question,
I was just going to jump in. I really like the building analogy, and it's one I've used in the past as well. But I think when you think of, maybe for the listeners, when they think of some of the concepts we've talked about with requirements and non-functional requirements, I think that's the kind of the idea here, right? Is you could have that building, but you need some foundations first before you bring your workloads to that building. You know, it's no good me having an office block inside of an apartment because it's not designed for that purpose. So it's no point having, I don't know, a nice jacuzzi on the top floor when you can't get water all the way up to the top floor or get rid of it, for example. So I think having that solid foundation and making sure that you have those right components in place to then empower and build on top of that is really what we're talking about here. And that's where all of those non-functional requirements come in, because one foundation isn't necessarily going to be the same as another foundation, like you mentioned about the size of the building, or I'd even take it a step forward, like thinking about resilience, you know, whether it's earthquake proof or something like that, you know, and all of these things that might be very strange requirements that people don't normally think of You need to start
Never,
thinking
yeah.
of for those foundations.
They think about, hey, we just need DevOps. They will build it.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like this actually. So you have to think more organized, because I can see that there is a lack in the market for maybe the architects, the DevOps, and everybody is running around to get them, just to catch the trends of Kubernetes, containerization, whatever. It's all okay. It's not about skills now. It's about planning the right way.
Yes.
If you are still thinking with the legacy mindsets, you won't succeed in the cloud, because cloud have different views. Actually, it have a different mindset. So it's not like all time when we're working in the data center, stuff like this. You have the database team and you have the applications team and you have the security team and so on. Now, actually, the cloud architect can tackle multiple domains actually at once. For sure, it's not verticals, but horizontal, but he tackle it and he owns it. So, and he start talking with different stakeholders in the project actually.
Sure.
So, one more thing actually is to be realistic while you are using the Azure Landing Zone. So don't, for example, commit with the customer or whoever you're talking about, or your manager or whatever, just commit about, say, hey, we can do a racing maybe arena inside the building. It doesn't make sense. Or you can do so be more realistic while you are building your workloads inside. So if you need to make a racing arena for the cars, the building is not the right place. So you have to make wider building with a lot of you know what
Absolutely.
I mean. So,
design for the requirements.
Exactly. So, and this is the industry focus. So if you're talking about pharmaceutical, then you have to make it highly secured, and also finance highly secured, government highly secured. If you're talking about normal like dev and test, e-commerce, it's highly secured, but not like something for military or something for finance or banking systems. It's much more security-wise.
Not necessarily regulation that's driving it. It's something else that might be driving it. Whereas those industries you mentioned will have certain factors.
Yeah. So this is actually how it goes when people are thinking about landing zone. So now we agreed on the landing zone. We can name it actually if you have kind of let me open my draw.io, because I like to draw a little bit.
I like drawing as well. Let's go for it.
Yeah. So draw the IO. Okay. So
I guess we're kind of hinting on some of it just while that's loading up here. I guess we're hinting at some of this next question as well, but why should the viewers or the listeners care about what a landing zone is? And I think we've kind of hinted at that, haven't we? That foundation, right?
Exactly. So, for example, if you're talking about the, as we said, landing zone, so maybe this is one landing zone, and if you have another customer, maybe the customer can see he have multiple subscriptions like this, multiple subscriptions, and each subscription, whatever he wants to do, this can be also named as a landing zone. So landing zone can be one subscription or multiple subscriptions with a specific configurations and standardized way of provisioning the workloads. So for example, if you are provisioning a new workload, you need to make sure the tagging is right, the sequence of the resources is being named right, the policies that is being applied on different subscriptions is right, and so on. So this is actually also for the question that you're asking about why the customer or why the users should know about Azure Landing Zone. This is your way for building a solid structured cloud infrastructure or environment for your company or for whoever. First, you have to, just not to think about it like documentation from Microsoft, or think about it like, hey, it's a good marketing stuff. No, it's not a good marketing stuff. It's really mandatory to make it the right way, because if you didn't do it the right way, you will suffer, the operation will suffer, the database will suffer, the network is gonna go crazy, and the security will stop everything.
Absolutely. And it's making sure that those potential areas that you might not have thought about that maybe aren't as sexy and interesting as the application sort of workloads you want to go and push up there. It's making sure that you've got those underlying foundations in a way that is sensible and makes sense to recommended practices, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And really, one more important thing that here, just I'd like to add it for everybody who's thinking about this. Azure Landing Zone is whom responsibility. It's not one person. For sure, it's the cloud architect, but in the coordination with the enterprise architect, people do not mix between enterprise architects and cloud architects. A lot of people think that, yeah, enterprise architects, then he's doing cloud. No, it's not like this. Enterprise architect is more high level with a lot of experience, with a holistic view about not only cloud, his on premises, his maybe applications. He have like a big set of workloads and systems. He should ensure that is integrated well and governed well.
Gotcha.
But yeah, exactly. So maybe this is one point, because if we open the documentation of the cloud adoption framework, that means that the cloud architect is the one who's talking with the stakeholders. One of the stakeholders is the enterprise architect. They work together, but doesn't mean that the enterprise architect go into vertical or deep inside what's inside the Azure Landing Zone, but he should be aware just to keep in mind while integrating with other systems that he have in mind. Maybe he's talking about maybe different clouds,
or VPN exactly. Or maybe something. Yeah,
VPNs. Yeah, maybe another strategy. So you can say the enterprise architect is more about strategic view about how the systems and technologies is going to be developed in the future.
The glue between all of those different pieces.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so.
Gotcha. So
then, tell me about other questions that you think about.
So I guess then we've covered the what and maybe the why people should be interested. Maybe let's think about when. So let's say I'm midway through my journey, or I'm planning my journey and I'm thinking that I might start soon. Is there a good time for me to start thinking about my landing zone? When should I really start thinking about that?
Okay, this is a good point. When should I start to know about landing zone? So whatever you are, if you are new to the cloud, if you are migrated from on-premises to the cloud, if you left the legacy systems, the on-premises, and started to think a cloud, then you have to start thinking about the Azure Landing Zone. You have three different scenarios, or two different scenarios we can see: greenfield or brownfield. So if you're starting from scratch, this is very important to go with the Azure Landing Zone. And even if you have brownfield projects, or you're thinking about that you are having things that you need to migrate, or this running and you have to change it, then it's maybe it's a little bit hard. If you, for example, if you deployed your stuff into Azure, and you didn't think about the Azure Landing Zone from the beginning as a company, and you were just playing like pilot, and then it succeeds and said, hey, I'm succeeded, just go live, okay? And nobody thinks about, hey, where's the security? I swear.
I know, I'm laughing because I've seen it happen. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
and sorry, so and this is actually the problem, that some people think from their perspective, hey, it's working. Why do you need to stop me? Actually, it's working. I don't. So the security comes, hey, this is not secure. This is not secure. This is not secure. This is not governed. This is not governed.
Yes.
Where you go? This is there's no structure for the cloud. How we can go this live? Yep. The points that I mentioned in the Azure Landing Zone, that the design areas was not considered while the people were playing with Kubernetes or whatever.
That's the thing, isn't it? I think a lot of people get excited about, hey, we've managed to get this proof of concept working. We've got this pilot working. Yeah. Let's go ahead and now go bigger and better, and they don't think about some they think about some of those other pieces that actually you need to bring in, and it's just helping bring that structure, really, isn't it? I think is the main thought behind it.
Frankly speaking, people do not, maybe a lot of people do not like documentation, do not like organization, maybe organizing the stuff like, hey, just make it quick to market and stuff like this. And maybe the sales and marketing like this so much, like, hey, just we need to go there. The customer is really in a hurry and we need to make him on the cloud so fast and such. And maybe not even if you are a partner, if you are inside the company and all the expertise inside the company, and you are getting hit from the sales and the marketing people, and just you need to deploy your new application for the customers or whatever. It's like, hey, just we need to deploy it and so on. And you see, hey, guys, we don't have standardization, we don't have regulations here, so we have to go through this. And this should be done once this is a good question. When I should think about Azure Landing Zone is when you decide to go to the cloud. Once you have the idea that you are going to the cloud, the first thing is to do, open the cloud adoption framework, go through the points, start with the landing zone. This is the first thing. If you think about hey, maybe somebody play with the top management head, hey, just, the sales guys, cloud is gonna save for you 100 million, whatever. Just
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then they said, hey, yeah, just IT, I need a cloud. Once they hear this, we are going to the cloud, this is the first point. Don't do anything else. Don't ask for DevOps, dev and test environment, or don't ask for developing your small application to see how it looks like. First, start with the landing zone, and then just start playing whatever you want. If you want to make the whole environment for dev, we don't care, but just start with
Gotcha.
This is when you should start the Azure Landing Zone.
Gotcha. So start thinking about it sooner rather than later. I guess then there were quite a number of different design areas. I think we talked about enterprise enrollment, identity, resource organization, security, BCDR, lots of different areas. And that might sound a bit overwhelming if I'm at the very beginning of my journey, or like we mentioned, maybe I want to get going really quickly. And is that something that I have to do everything at once at the beginning, or can I maybe grow and change and evolve my landing zone over time?
Okay. So you think about the term that you hear always with the people of containerizations as immutable infrastructure, right? A lot of people say, hey, this is immutable infrastructure. Okay, so the word immutable, okay, that's a little bit, I don't believe in so much, because definitely you're gonna change in the future. Yeah. It's not like, yes, you have the basics, but maybe you need to scale up, scale down. Maybe you needed to do a little bit of tweaks. So yeah. Anyway, so if you're talking about this point specifically that you're asking about, hey Karim, just each time kind of like you're asking for a templates, right? Like a templates, or you're asking about how it's going to look like. So if you can see my shared screen here, so these are the implementation options that you are having. So it depends on each deployment. So if you have a new customer maybe, or you are building for a huge company which have sub companies, and each company you will start to do its own landing zone inside, then you have to go through these options, and these are the blueprints that you can use it during your building of the landing zone. And what Microsoft provides here is the basics. Don't take it as is. Again, these are the basics. So because I've seen some people, hey, Microsoft said to do this, okay, but it's contradicting with your company compliance regulations mindset.
Yes.
So you can change, don't worry. So because some people, for example, here, here in Germany, they like documentation. They like really so much to be strict about what's have written in documentation. This is fine for me, but you have to be a little bit flexible, because not everything in documentation can work within your company. So you have to start customizing. And this is the trick here. And I've seen this actually as a questions actually from different customers that asking their Microsoft. Customers are asking Microsoft about, can we touch and change in the blueprints here? They said, yes, you can. Why not? Yes, you can change it. Unless, as long as it's not so far like you are thinking about new stuff, no problem. You can change it. You can make it for your related to your workloads nature, related to the industry nature, and so on. So I think you have disappeared.
Yeah, carry on. It's okay.
Okay.
My camera's having some challenges, but that's okay. We can continue.
Okay, cool. So as you see my screen here, so I'm sharing with you. These are the blueprints. So this is the cloud Terraform migration a blueprint, and here is a sample of deploying the blueprint. If I press here inside the framework migration landing zone blueprint, so it looks like this. So this is the core infrastructure services that you need. So, for example, you need I need a subscription, I need a resource group, storage accounts, log analytics, key vault, Azure migrate. This is when, if you are thinking about migration. So you have to include the migrate unless you are using a third party, like another ISV, independent software vendor, that can migrate your workloads to Azure. But you have to consider it, and this is how it looks like, and so on. So, for example, this is the architecture, and these are the points that you have to consider while you are deploying the first maybe blueprint. More than this, so this is the blueprint lifecycle. For example, understand how to use static and dynamic parameters, and we are now going so much more deeper. So if we put here blueprint lifecycle, and this is what you were thinking about, hey, can we change it or not? Yes, you can change, as you see. And in the future, if you, for example, deployed once and then you didn't like, then you have from the beginning with the DevOps guys, the awesome DevOps guys, to make a clear DevOps, pipeline, clear DevOps strategy, because you will do it a lot until you reach the best form. After you reach the best form, you will start to say, hey guys, now you can furnish whoever wants, because the first phase, as you know, Chris, is gathering requirements.
Yes.
It's a lot of gathering requirements. And the myth says that if there's no requirements, do assumptions.
Yep.
All the integrators know about this, all the service providers. You have a lot of hassle. You have a lot of this is my personal view. This is not Fujitsu. This is my personal view. I'm just thinking about my own view. Yeah. The customers think about that. You know what I need. Okay. This is how it goes. And then you come, or maybe the managers of what side. So in the customer side, they tell their subordinates, yes, we need to go to the cloud. So the IT guys start with what actually need to be migrated. What is the requirements? What is there? What should be before what? These are the requirements. Nobody will tell you unless you dig and find it and start putting your plan. This is a long journey. Sometimes it takes 2 years. I've seen in the past, one of the customers here in Germany, they wanted to go to the cloud containerized. The Microsoft came and told them, hey, and they had an 18 years old application, which have 1 million plus line of code. I swear, 1 million. By the way, it's really a big company here in Germany. Microsoft told them, okay, first of all, refactoring, re-architecting the application is going to take 3 years. Okay. And going IaaS, so infrastructure as a service, to the cloud is going to take 6 months to 1 year. Definitely it said, okay, just start with the infrastructure as a service, a little bit of platform as a service. In parallel, we're going to do with a partner or whatever, the re-architecting or refactoring of the application that have 1 million plus code, and developers are coming, and there's a lot of developers have passed by, and now it's, spaghetti code began to be like this, and nobody can move it anymore. Then the one thing that I worked on it with Microsoft in the past to make it on Azure as an infrastructure as a service, take it as is. That in parallel, another partner is going to analyze the code and do whatever. This is the strategy that I'm talking about. And by the way, that was I was talking in the era of Cloud Foundation or Cloud Fundamentals. There was no Cloud Adoption Framework or Azure Landing Zone. So now this is really a good opportunity for anybody who wants to think about, hey, I want to go to the cloud. Just start with this. Start with this and start actually building the fundamentals or the infrastructure of the environment. Even if you don't have requirements, go with Azure here, the blueprints of Azure that you have it here for the landing zones, because a lot of people, hey, what is the requirements? Okay, don't worry, take it here as is. Then you have to go with the life cycle here and start thinking about, hey, I need this. Do I need this feature or not? Yes. Do I need this part? Yes or not? and so on. And this is also what I mentioned, to have a good DevOps process and strategy, to be flexible with the changes. Because if you don't have this, it's gonna be hell. You know about this.
The thing is as well, right? I know we're talking here about it's important to get requirements up front, which absolutely it is. But requirements do also change over time. Businesses grow. We need to scale applications further. Maybe we need to launch in new regions. So you need to accommodate for that change for those reasons. Even if you haven't got those, you have got those requirements up front, there is going to be change, and you'll need to account for that as well.
Yeah, I can tell you actually in my past, actually, for the requirements part, it was really funny because some IT managers, some companies think about, hey, what is the latest trend? Containerization, Grafana, whatever. Just okay. I need them. Just
that's my requirement. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then he might pay a lot of money and he do not need it. Hey man, I can tell you, I was working in the past in Egypt Air. Okay. And maybe in some of their systems, even I was working as an internship, really all like 10 years old, more than this, in a cabling factory, electric cabling factory. I was working internship with IT there. I've seen their systems were really old. The machines that is in producing the cables were connected to a 3.1 Windows, the old 3.11. I swear, yeah. They didn't change, and they didn't like it. And when I was thinking about it, was since the Windows XP era and stuff like this. I was thinking, hey, why didn't you upgrade it to Windows XP or something like this? Till today, I can see in the airport,
Yes.
yeah, I'll tell you.
I know. Yeah.
You have seen this, okay? Yeah.
I've seen them.
The screens are in the airport. I think in the what is this? The tunnel that makes you inside the plane. The joystick that moves. Okay.
Yeah.
This tunnel with the joystick when you on the left. Yeah.
Like not the taxi, but I know what you mean. The thing that you go into.
Going to inside the airplane.
Yeah.
When you are traveling. This one at the end, when you are entering the airplane, you're gonna find on the left a screen with a joystick that the guy is moving the whatever this tunnel.
Yeah,
they're using really old operating system, and they are fine and they are doing money. So just I'm not again. It's going to the cloud, but see really if you can see that there is a need to go with a cloud, just not go follow the trends, follow what actually is making you stable, making you, a lot of stories about, when to change, when not to change. Like
requirements led.
Yeah. I mean, like the cake of USA, the cake Twinkies, if you know it.
Yes.
Have been like since hundreds of years. It didn't change anything. They're just changing the outside
packaging.
Packet. Yeah, and they are doing a lot of money.
Yep.
Just you imagine, But on the other hand, like if you know that Kodak or whatever, or Nokia, they have they didn't change, then went off. Yeah. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
so I guess then bringing it back to the kind of landing zone pieces that we're talking about here and the blueprints piece. So we've talked about how landing zones are really that foundation for the cloud environment and the various requirements that might drive that. We've talked about why, the fact that you need that good solid foundation in place to make sure you protect yourselves in the workloads that you're bringing and making sure you have the right kind of governance, security, all of those underpinning pieces that help that workload be successful. Think about it early on rather than later, and it's not necessarily something that you need to do all at once, because you should think about changing it over time. We've also talked there, I guess, as well about the fact that we can automate it. It's not something that we have to set everything up manually for each environment that we want to go and spin up and think about there. We can go and use blueprints or Terraform, for example. Yes, there you go. Exactly. Well coordinated.
I wanted you to finish what you have in mind. Yeah. So, for example, this is the CAF, so Cloud Azure Terraform Module. So, as I didn't try it yet, actually, because still I think it was introduced recently, and there was a lot of changes inside it. One of them, so for example, they are having Terraform templates actually for the Cloud Adoption Framework, which is specifically for the landing zone, Terraform landing zone, to have your automation code in a Terraform structure, and you can use this blueprint, and also you will see the assumptions here and the design decisions that have it. So as I mentioned, so people whoever is looking for this, don't worry, you can change it, but this is kind of like the spark. You just take it and start building your environment, but you have to start first.
Yes.
As you see here on tagging standards, for example, and everything. So Terraform, here you go.
Gotcha.
Just a second. You can clone your Terraform. Okay, here it goes for the GitHub. So I'm gonna share these links actually, just to if anybody wants to go through this and have more insights about it, because I didn't test it yet. But as you see here, a lot of Terraform codes that can start building your infrastructure or the Azure Landing Zone as a start, and then you can start customizing upon your needs. So yes, you can do it with Terraform. There is, and I expect to find the other here. There should be like JSON or something like ARM templates, but most of people are now using Terraform.
There you go. You've got the blueprint example there as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and just BCRs. Okay. Basing link. Okay. Just a second. And landing zone. Yeah. This is the one that I told you about. So refactoring landing zones here. You see, initial landing zone, decision tree refactoring, future state enterprise ready.
I guess really what that is just reinforcing is you don't need to solve it all at once. You can iterate over it. It is okay to keep growing.
See, this is going how's it? Like this, yeah. And why I said this, because if you remember that I mentioned that you can have somebody already deployed some subscriptions and stuff and said, hey, the application is working and we are now migrating. We are going ahead. We are so fast. Okay. And they didn't take care about it. So maybe this can be like a starting. And in some cases, actually, security departments do not like this and say, hey, no, we won't use this environment because it might be attacked from outside. Maybe somebody put exploits. We don't know, because during the test, some people use the RDP, public RDP, and play around, and they are happy with this, and they don't consider VPNs or point-to-point site or whatever. So this is really vulnerable for being attacked unless security consideration has been taken from the beginning of building this environment.
Sure, gotcha.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about automating this, yes, it can be automated, and this actually should be done from the beginning, as I mentioned. So if you started, put your DevOps strategy, DevOps pipelines, and start putting your whatever you're using, the tools, I don't care, to build the first model of the Azure Landing Zone. And the blueprints, you're going to find it here, as I mentioned, also with the Azure blueprints. There was a big picture. Yes, here you go. Here is it. Yep. Now you can see this. Okay, so this is one. Again, so please, all the users, all the experts, don't use this as is. Like, hey, this is the Azure Landing Zone. No, it's not. As you see this part, landing zone subscriptions here. So this is the landing zone subscriptions, and inside it, there's a lot of stuff here. Okay, this is the enterprise level. So, for example, if you're a big company having different departments, so you have to differentiate between the workloads that is going to be hosted on your agreement with Microsoft about the quotas that you have taken from the Azure quotas, whatever, and the tenant group and the departments that you have categorized from the beginning, and then start doing your landing zone. As you see here, landing zone 1 and A2. So landing zone 1 means that it's a subscription, and a subscription with a workload inside. Azure Landing Zone, you see, Landing Zone A2, another subscription with a different set. This is what's meant by landing zone. What's here outside? This is not landing zones. So from my perspective, I can consider this as an enterprise, as they mentioned here, enterprise scale landing zone, which means that you have a big place that you are provisioning and managing security and stuff like this for your subscriptions. So you have a big subscription with small subscriptions, and each subscription is being introduced or provisioned with whatever set of configurations is named a landing zone, as you see here. So the landing zone 1, landing zone 2, and so on. By the way, so those arrows is not a network connectivities. No worries. This is a flow diagram, because some people say, hey, yeah, take it. They take it as this, and then they think that this is a hub and spoke model. Okay.
No.
And they say, hey, this is the hub and this is the spoke. No, it's not.
I can see how people would arrive at that, but
it's going crazy. It's just I'm trying to make it easy, because the people is really running to catch the trends, and they think, hey, Azure Landing Zones, yeah, I can do it. Yeah, it's like this. Yeah, you see, this is the hub and this is the spoke. No, it's not. Just read first. This is management group subscription organization.
Gotcha.
And this is a logical diagram here. Diagram. Just one network stuff here, as you see here. VNet peering, yes, this is only the network. All of the rest is just arrows for a logical stuff.
Gotcha. Okay.
So this is as you see here, Chris. This is enterprise scale landing zone. People can use it, yes, as a starter. But again, for example, if I'm SME, small medium business, SMB, so small medium, should I use this huge one? No, you shouldn't do the huge one. You don't need vWAN hub, or you don't need the huge stuff to do a lot of categorization, because you might have one platform, one department, for example. Don't need this. But if, for example, like a huge company, as a huge enterprise with a lot of sub companies, for example, like the automotive, like the worldly automotive, like the Volkswagen, they have multiple sub companies. They have Audi, they have Seat, they have a lot. They have Volkswagen, they have a lot. So each one is really huge. Now, yes, this is enterprise scale landing zone architecture. Then you can use this one. But if you are not like a huge one, then make it easy, simple. So you are talking about what we were talking about from the beginning.
Yes.
Then this is make it really easy. One landing zone for your whatever, or two, depending on your needs. And just put your stuff. That's all. Don't scatter yourself. Yeah.
And I think there's two different concepts, isn't there? There's the start small, expand, and there's the start with enterprise scale. And which one you need really depends on those requirements, as we've kept saying all the way through. You don't necessarily need to go straight for this. It might not even be appropriate for you. You want to start small first and then work your way there. So
exactly.
Good.
This is what they name it, MVP, so the minimum viable product.
Exactly.
No, the most known term, yeah.
Awesome. Good. So, Karim, I think we've done a good amount there in terms of explaining kind of what they are, why I'd want to use them, when I should start thinking about them, how I get started, etc. Are there any kind of closing thoughts that you want to impart with the listeners here as we start wrapping up?
Okay, so wrapping up here, that thinking cloud, if you are thinking cloud, this link that I'm sharing or showing right now, start from here. This is the starting point. Don't start from from the end, to not top down, but from sorry, from down top, so from top down. It should be like this. This is the wrap up. Go through the Cloud Adoption Framework, and maybe we can have another session about the Cloud Adoption Framework to go through the upper points, and then going to the details of the Cloud Adoption Framework, because if the people who are working with the cloud or Azure, like maybe architects or DevOps, whoever, should understand this. If they didn't understand this, then I ensure that your environment is going to be a chaos, 100%. Because once the things you imagine going from the planning architecture phase to the delivery to the operations, once it's in operation, customer does not like outages. He do not want downtimes. I don't care. You're gonna pay me money. This is how it's go. So think about it first. Consume some time inside the Cloud Adoption Framework to read and assess, and maybe they can use the Microsoft or partners of Microsoft just to start working with the Cloud Adoption Framework and the landing zones. And this is how it goes.
Excellent. Okay. Karim, thank you very much for joining and sharing all of your knowledge. Really appreciate it.
Anytime. Thank you so much, Chris. And I hope we have another session. And next time, maybe I will invite you for another call.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay.
So folks, we've taken a look there all about Azure Landing Zones, talking about what they are, this idea that they are a foundation for your workloads, and those requirements that drive what that landing zone is really going to depend on all of those things we've talked about before, those non-functional requirements, the industries you're working in. As the analogy was a little bit earlier, the building is going to vary depending upon what you need and your specifications. We've talked about why you should care about it, so how it makes the overall experience with cloud a little more pleasant as you go along, thinking about some of those cross-cutting concerns like security, networking, identity, etc. And thinking about it early from the beginning. Think about it from the very start. You don't necessarily need to go and do everything at once, but you should at least think about it from the very beginning. And once you've started thinking about it, start implementing it by using things like blueprints or Terraform or ARM templates, for example, to go ahead and start deploying those in an automated way. So with that, we've gone ahead and spent a fair amount of time here talking about Azure Landing Zones. So thank you again to Karim for joining. And until next time, folks, wishing you to stay safe and well, and see you next time. Bye for now.